Well, she's still claiming she hasn't violated any rules, but after 2 days of silence this afternoon, Sussan Ley apologised for attending an auction and purchasing a property on the Gold Coast while travelling on the taxpayer. The Health Minister will now pay back the travel costs for that trip. In a statement, Minister Ley said, "I have spoken to the Prime Minister and he agrees that this claim does not meet the high standards he expects of ministers. I apologise for the error of judgment." That should say errors of judgment. The Minister admitting to 2 other occasions that taxpayers forked out for her to stay on the Gold Coast unnecessarily, as well as a flight from Coolangatta to Canberra. All of these claims we paid back. All will attract a financial penalty, and the department is now reviewing over a dozen trips to and from the Gold Coast in recent years made by the Minister. This all comes as Australian families are forced to tighten their own belts as childcare costs skyrocket. They may be little people, but they're putting increasingly bigger holes in the household budget. New figures released by the government showing childcare costs up 6.8% in a year, and it'll keep climbing.
This is exactly why we want to overhaul the childcare system. We actually have answers and solutions to better help Australian families.
But a parliamentary standoff is now threatening to see childcare costs rise above $200 per day.
Higher fees are going to make life more difficult for Australian families who are struggling.
The government prioritising changes which would see the removal of the existing $7,500 yearly cap for subsidies. Instead, families earning under $185,000 per year will have unlimited access, while higher income families will be subsidised up to $10,000.
Because our reforms will ensure that the hardest working Australian families will get the greatest support.
A benchmark price for a day's childcare will also be established.
This great big plan, which has been part of the government's project for a couple of years now, hasn't been brought into the parliament.
And it won't be introduced until the Senate passes savings to family tax benefit payments to offset costs.
I can't imagine a clearer case of robbing Peter to pay Paul than that.
The government increasingly confident as negotiations continue a month out from Parliament's return. Charles Croucher, 9 News.